Last night, one of my boys and I were having a conversation. And at some point during the conversation, I had asked a question. And my boy looks at me and he said, yeah. And I said, yeah? Who are you yaing? And so he goes, yes, ma'am. I said, what was that? What was that? Why the attitude? The expectation has been here your entire life. This is not new. What is happening? And he had a little friend with them. And I said, be like your little friend right here. It's always yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They never miss. Little friend looks at me and goes, I don't say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am to my parents. I think it's stupid. I said, what? I looked at my kid. I said, on second thought, don't do this. That'll get you hurt. Y'all need to go away. So they walk away, and I look at the adult next to me, and I'm like, what just happened? She's as flabbergasted as I am. So we get home that night, and I call him into the kitchen because I want to kind of talk about it and figure out, like, what is happening? And I said, hey, I really, really did not appreciate that you put me in that position with your friend. And he said, I didn't put you in any position. And I said, no, you were disrespectful. You opened the door of disrespect, and your friend felt very comfortable walking through it because, well, you had just walked through it. And he was like, I can't be held accountable for what they do. I said, oh, no. You absolutely are accountable for the words that your little friend said to your mother. Your little friend was ultra disrespectful to your mother. You were disrespectful to your mother. No, you are responsible. He's like, that's not fair. I can't be responsible for somebody else, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, you can be. You gave the signal, hey, this lady, don't need to respect her. I don't respect her, so you don't need to. So yeah, you're responsible. Well, then I'm trying to explain to him that it's no different than when you're driving your car. The car in front of you slams on their brakes. You didn't give them enough space, right? So you could stop in time, so you slam into them. And then the car behind you slams into you. You're responsible for the car you hit and the car that hit you. He's like, no, I'm not. I said, you are. So I look it up for him, and I show him the law. And he is just like, this is not fair. It's just so dramatic. I said, I thought raising boys was supposed to be easier, but that was a lie. Okay. And then, I wrapped up the conversation, and I said, go put your phone on my nightstand. We're going to take a break from it. And normally we let our kids text their friends to let them know, like, hey, I'm grounded. So, like, I'm not ignoring you, whatever. And I said, but I'm going to be honest with you. No, we're not going to do that tonight. And I said, because if you cannot be respectful to us and your friends can't be respectful to us, I will not be extending a courtesy that they don't think they owe us. Not going to do it. And he was like, of course. I said, all you're doing is digging that hole, buddy. That's all you're doing. And then he went and plugged his phone in, and he was big mad all night long. I said, this just doesn't feel like my problem. This has been the same rules and expectations his entire life. What is happening? May is coming. Oh, May is coming. It's coming.